We are about 10 days away from World Cup qualifiers all over the planet. We're talking about the U.S. men's national team. It begins September the 2nd in San Salvador against El Salvador. That's a Thursday. Following Sunday the 5th, USA will host Canada. And then Wednesday, September the 8th, they travel to San Pedro Sula to take on Honduras. Next week, we'll have a full preview of the team and those games. We'll know the roster. We'll break it all down. We'll also have recaps after each game, and we're off and running. The World Cup 2017 behind us. We look forward to 2022, where we hope the U.S. can make an impact. I'm feeling very confident they will. Although, this was not a great week for our guys, and we're going to get into that. This is the Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast, just recorded, published for your listening pleasure. I'll be joined by Keith Costigan, one of my great contributors. Keith works for Fox Sports and the Seattle Sounders. We're going to talk about what's going on in the Premier League. Is the Big Four getting too big for the rest? What happens with Christian Pulisic? We're going to talk about him. Make sure you also subscribe to the Soccer OG here on YouTube. Thank you for all those who have hit that button. If you haven't, hit the button now. The good stuff is coming. Fixing that mirror. Looks much better. Saw my friend Small Black in concert this week. Also saw Guns N' Roses. Back to seeing concerts. Guns N' Roses played for almost 4 hours. They had an incredible production. You can see all the guitar licks. Highly recommend if you see it. Also check out Small Black and buy a shirt. Support smaller bands so they can become bigger bands. Not a great week for U.S. players. We'll start with Christian Pulisic, who contracted COVID earlier in the week. I don't know what that means for this week coming up. Chelsea will be playing at Liverpool August the 28th, and then they get ready for international duty. Maybe it's good that he doesn't play against Liverpool, so he's healthy. I would like for him to play. I would imagine the timing as it is, he should be available. Depends how early he contracted COVID. Obviously going to get a negative test, but we hope he'll get in there. Will he get in there? We don't know. We don't know. Romelu Lukaku has arrived. And yes, Christian Pulisic doesn't play as the number 9, although he has played that position as a false 9 or something along those lines on a couple occasions. But that's one more position that's taken away from him. They play that 3-4-3. Up front, Lukaku, Havertz, and Mount. Mount's not going anywhere. Havertz has been playing very well. Ziyech could get in there. What do you do with Timo Werner? What do you do with Christian Pulisic? It's a big discussion. We need him playing games. Yes, playing for Chelsea. If you are playing, maybe 30 minutes a game, maybe starting some games here in the FA Cup. Not ideal, but Chelsea, you could argue, is the best team on the planet right now. They won the biggest competition in the world in the Champions League. That's good for him to be there. But he is our A number 1. He has to be on a club where he's the A number 1, in my opinion. I think I will take his situation better than I would Zach Steffen. Zach Steffen, not going to get a lot of games, still with Manchester City. And if he is going to be our number 1, I'm concerned. We'll see what happens with the goalkeeping. The goalkeeping is going to be an issue. Ethan Horvath got on a deal to go to Nottingham Forest, played a game, hasn't played the last few. Looks like he's the backup for Nottingham Forest in the championship. Not good. Does that open the door for Matt Turner? I don't know if he is the number 1. I think it's going to be Zach Steffen. We'll find out more next week. I think a couple of those keepers, and it has to be Turner because of the Gold Cup, would get maybe the Canada game, and then maybe Zach gets El Salvador, Honduras. That's a big decision. You can't have one keeper play all 3. I do not think. You can't have all 3 keepers play. But the Pulisic situation is one to keep an eye on. It is huge for the development of this team and how much you rely on Christian Pulisic because he has to be a featured player. Other situations, Weston McKennie, suspended, did not play for Juventus. Weird things happening with that club. We expect him to be back in the next game. Cristiano Ronaldo, who had a game winner wiped out, apparently requested not to start. His future in doubt with the old lady of Italian football. Massimo Allegri said he was assured that maybe he would stay, It's a weird situation. Where does Cristiano Ronaldo go? How does that affect Weston McKennie? I think he should stay there. Who's going to take Cristiano Ronaldo? I just doesn't. I mean, if he comes to MLS or something, no. But if he go, where is he going to go in Europe? That's going to make a team better right now. It's just a weird situation. I think he's best where he's at. Weston McKennie didn't play. A big problem developing for Josh Sargent. He played 13 minutes, came in for Timu Pukki for Norwich City. The minutes are a problem. I think he'll get more of them. The bigger problem is Norwich are terrible. Norwich have a -8 goal differential already after 2 games. What's that going to be like? I'm starting to feel a little concerned because it could be a bad situation where they hemorrhage defeats and go right back down. You don't want to be on that. You don't want to be on that. Hopefully they get some results. Right now they look like they're going right back down to the championship. Not pretty. Not pretty whatsoever. So that's another bit of a step back in the big picture. Serginho Dest I'm still worried about. He started for Barcelona. Emerson's still pushing him. Dest did go 82 minutes. I'm looking at the back line. John Brooks is locked in. Serginho Dest, probably maybe that left back spot. Not 100% convinced if it's a back 4. Remember the defensive issues. Right back, would it be Reggie Cannon? He's not playing for Boa Vista now. It's not all bad news. It's not all bad news. The center back partner for John Brooks is key. Miles Robinson's playing all the time for Atlanta United. I think he should be the guy. Developments for some other defenders in the picture. Matt Miazga, now on loan at Alaves. We'll see if he can break into the lineup. That will be a big spot for him if he could. La Liga, playing against some great attackers. He could get back in. Mark McKenzie's playing all the time in the Belgian league. Maybe it's him or Miles Robinson. I don't think James Sand's going to be in the starting situation, but maybe on that roster and getting some minutes as well. You want to have a comfort level and a collectiveness in that back 4. John Brooks is going to go a long way in determining that. There is some good news. Let's get into that good news. We talked about Zach Steffen. Chris Richards, another of those defenders with Bayern Munich, came off the bench for 2 minutes. We need to get him on a loan spell. He's not going to play at Bayern. Not now. The Hoffenheim move was great. I don't think he's going to be featured in these World Cup qualifiers in September. But we got to get him on the right track because he is a superb talent. So the defensive group, a little worrisome. There were some loan moves. Owen Otasowie went from Wolves to Club Brugge. Reggie Cannon may be going to move. Conrad de la Fuente, he's not going anywhere, but he did not play for Marseille this weekend in a game that was suspended, the big rivalry game against Marseille and Nice. Ugly scenes if you didn't see it. The fans of Nice throwing stuff at the Marseille players. These are 2 southern French teams that don't like each other. Nice has a big investment. They want to push up the French league. So they threw stuff at the Marseille players. Marseille players threw stuff back, which they shouldn't have. And then the Nice players the Nice fans in an uproar came down like, you can't throw it at us. And they took on the field like they were disgusted that the Marseille players threw at them. Hello? Anyway, Conrad de la Fuente may not help his prospects by not being in the team for that game. Let's look on the bright spot. Wait, actually, one more. Joe Scally could be another option defensively. We talked about him. He played at left back, not his natural position for Borussia Mönchengladbach. This week they played Leverkusen. They lost 4-0. They picked on Joe Scally. It didn't look good. Remember, he's 18 years of age. What happened a little bit later is promising. And you hate to say this, but Stefan Leiner, the right back, looks like he broke his ankle, and that might give Joe Scally a chance to play there. They're going to be needing him. But he did take a step back, but he's still playing, and it looks like he's going to still play. So there's a silver lining there. Brendan Aronson playing all the time for Red Bull Salzburg. He's a stud. Gio Reyna starting for Borussia Dortmund. Did come out of that game. Dortmund lost to Freiburg. He was one of the first subs of the game, so good, but not great. Still playing deeper in that midfield. Where do you play him? These are some question marks. It wasn't going to always be unicorns and rainbows. We knew that. Tanner Tessman. Tanner Tessman, 19-year-old midfielder who went from FC Dallas to Venezia. Venezia back in the Serie A. They also got Gianluca Busio. My goodness, excuse me. It's late at night. Busio not on the roster yet. Tessman came on, 63rd minute, 6'3" midfielder. Got some minutes. Got a yellow card. That's a good development. Coach likes him. But Venezia could be taking some lumps too, much like the Norwich City. You want to play in Europe, but you don't want to play on teams that are getting pounded every week. And Venezia could be one of those teams. Norwich, I am pretty convinced, is going to be a team like that, based on what we've seen. Brian Reynolds, Roma, on the bench, did not play. We'll have a lot more answers to the questions. We'll hear from Greg Berhalter ahead of next week, because next week it opens the door for the International Week, and the U.S. have to prove that they can get results in Central America with a bunch of kids that haven't had a lot of experience there. We shall see. The Soccer OG all over it for the World Cup qualifiers. This is the place to be if you want to get the lowdown. Subscribe today. Join the Soccer OG family. We'll be back